This is where I was emotionally, personally. It was confusing, and I was trying to figure out who I am.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Joe Jonas is here.
Hey!
Today is the day, Friday, July 19th, the release of Work It Out. It's out today. What a song.
Thank you so much.
It feels good to sing a song.
It feels good to be back here with you guys.
Well, it's good to have you here.
Feels like home.
It's good to have you here without those other two.
Should I have you all took your headphones off right after was it me?
I know that the headphones are not on. They told us we had to use the headphones from now on for interviews, but they're not on, so we took them off.
Good
mic technique.
Nobody,
Yeah. A lot of people come in to be interviewed, and they speak to the microphone from across the room, and we can't hear them later.
Got it. Okay.
So you gotta
I was like, was it me that I didn't put them on?
No.
But yes, I'm glad the other guys are not here. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. Screw them. We don't need this.
I heard you.
He's like, going back to that.
So I'm going to play Work It Out in a minute. And of course, it's no secret that at one point, this song could have been a song for all of you or a song for DNCE.
Yeah, potentially.
And I heard that Nick actually thought, oh, this is our new song. And you're like, what was that conversation like?
So technically, it was a different song. But the story goes, when we were working probably 4 or 5 months ago for More Brothers Music, I started working with this guy, Alexander23, phenomenal producer, musician, Justin Tranter, who I wrote Cake by the Ocean with, and another writer, Bo. And we worked on a song called Only Love, and that song I just felt so close to, and I couldn't really I couldn't figure out why I felt like it wasn't right for the brothers and it wasn't right for DNC, and I kind of selfishly was like, I want to create something, I have a lot to say, and things that I feel like I need to write, I don't feel comfortable with other people being the voice of these songs. So kind of had to sit down. Nick was going to go do a movie with Paul Rudd. Kevin got another season of Claim to Fame. And then I was like, hey, and I also been wanting to write some music. You guys cool with that? And I want to take that song you really like. And Nick was like, well, damn, I really like that song, but fine. So that started the kind of journey for me to kind of create a new album.
So there's no vicious fight over a song.
Oh, there was it was a lot of blood.
Okay.
Who won? Obviously.
We need to hear that.
There's a reason they're not here.
But you know what? We go through these different chapters in our lives where we have the challenges, we have the great things and the sad things, the scary things.
Yeah.
And at those times, I wish we all had songwriting capabilities. I wish we could all sit down and do an album.
Yeah.
And obviously, this album is a very personal thing. It comes at an interesting time in your life. And I'm just reading over some of the things you've said in other interviews about how you wake up one day and go, okay, if I don't start controlling my life now, it's going to be like craziness forever.
Right.
And so you came to this point in your life where this album is sort of reflecting that in your life?
Definitely. I mean, it's very therapeutic for me. I agree with you. I'm so grateful that I have music as such like a tool to be able to use as an output. I mean, obviously, I think therapy is great, and talking to somebody's great, friends, family. But ultimately, as creators, that we can put pen to paper and feel like we can release it, and sometimes share it with the world. Sometimes just keep it for yourself, and it's like, great, I needed to do that for myself, and for athletes that's going to run. For myself, I'm so happy that I have music, and this last year doing our tour, 70 plus songs each night, or 60. I think it was 69 nice songs. There was a lot of times where I would go through the set list and I'm like, oh God, I really don't want to play this one. But then you perform it and see how it affects somebody in the audience. And I'm like, how lucky am I that I get to do this for almost 20 some years?
There you go.
Yeah.
And I get to make people feel something, whether if it's emotional or you realize, wow, that's their song that got them through that difficult time. So I wanted to create something that I was like, hey, look, if this helps somebody else through what they're going through, great. And Work It Out is essentially that. It's the idea of the conversation you can have with yourself in the mirror where you're like, look, no one's going to come save you from what you're going through. You got to shake it off yourself and figure this out. And then it's kind of explaining it to other people and saying, all right, I've gone through it. Maybe I can help you along the way. And in like a pop rock fun way that you don't really realize what you're listening to.
I love that. I love when there are heavy lyrics to like poppy music.
That's my favorite music.
Amazing,
I mean, think about like even songs, some of my favorite songs of all time are really heavy lyrics with happy music, and until you dissect them, you don't really understand that.
Sometimes you write a song, or an artist, not you, but an artist will write a song, and it really is, I've got to get this out of my system.
Yeah.
and it really is just kind of lashing out at the whole world about how I hate people. And I just need to. And they perform these songs at their concerts, thinking, I just crapped all over our audience emotionally just once again, and I'm getting away with it, and they're clapping.
Yeah. It feels so good.
They love
But
it.
wait, have you ever written one and you're like, yeah, this one I'm not going to release, and like I'm just going to keep this one under my pillow for me?
Yes, that's funny you say that. There was a song I was thinking about recently, and I played for some of the record labels that are in the hallway, and this was years ago. And I was going through something, and I wrote this song just like I was really angry about a situation, and I was like, "What do you guys think?" And they're like, "Well, it's cool. I don't know if you'll want to have this released in or have to be thinking about this in a year." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. Yeah." Wow. I'm like, I don't want to create an enemy out of something that, at the end of the day, it was for me, and that's what I have, and I'm like, I'm happy I created it, but I don't feel like sometimes it's necessary for it all to be out there.
Maybe next album, huh?
Yeah. Right.
Next album. Yeah, somebody's gonna listen to it like, release it. Who
was it we were interviewing once, and they said they have a whole palette of songs that are so bad they will never release.
Oh,
and we're like, I think it was Ed Sheeran, I think.
It might have been Ed Sheeran.
And we said we want to hear that album.
Yeah.
And we're going, it's like
the fans would love to hear it.
The most awful songs I've ever written, and here they are.
I would buy that in a minute. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah, it's like a diary, like a burn book.
Yeah.
Song.
Why not?
It's a good idea.
Do it.
The Ed Sheeran edition.
Joe Jonas here has his music to, as his therapy and his cathartic moments. What do we have? I've got nothing. You've got Gandhi has her artwork.
Yes.
That's great.
But
Danielle,
I don't really burn people with it.
What do you have?
I'm sure there's a way.
I feel like when I'm pissed off, I put music on it and just like dance to it, like
no,
crazy.
But what do you? Okay, so that's how you get it out.
That's how I get it out.
How about you?
This is why I'm effed up, man. I need something other than eating, and
go for a walk with your dogs. That alone, probably,
okay.
right?
How about reading? I like to read. What about
porn,
reading?
drinking?
No,
it's
not
all good.
porn. Okay.
Yep.
There's other ways of therapy.
Little hooker and blow.
Hookers and blow.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm all good now.
That's the name of your hit song, I think.
I should show more gratitude for these things. Anyway, so you've been out on the road and continue to be on the road with your brothers.
We pretty much are doing shows on the weekends, but after what we just did, it feels like a walk in the park, to be honest. We played the Calgary Stampede last weekend. It was wild.
Well, I think
it was wild.
Didn't you debut Work It Out at that show?
I did, yeah. Which is funny because on paper you're like, this is gonna be sick. You get to the stage and the stage is like pretty barren, so you're like, all right. Which I found myself wanting to jump in the audience, but luckily. The crowd is all drinking all day because it's a stampede, and they're all in cowboy hats and cowboy boots, and they're having a blast. So I was like, this is the perfect audience for a performance like this. And it's always a little nerve-wracking playing something new. I feel like there's that moment where you're on stage and you realize, I really hope the idea. You're like, this is great. I really want to perform this. You get up there and you're like, oh shit, they don't know this. Oh, sorry, I cursed again on this radio station.
It's okay. No, don't push a button.
Yeah,
right, hold on,
I just see the shut up button, so I'm assuming that's right. But yeah, it was fun, and they happen to know more lyrics than I expected from just like even TikTok. You sample some of the song and they learn it, which is kind of crazy.
But wait, this was a rodeo?
It's technically a stampede, not a rodeo. I don't know the difference, but
there's a big difference.
There's like 100,000 people that show up for this. Most of Canada goes, and it's like a week-long thing. A lot of different performers. We had a lot of chicken wings and beer. It was great.
So the album Music for People Who Believe in Love is coming out when?
It comes out October 19th.
Okay.
Right.
And so going back to something you said earlier about the song that will never be released, and your guy said, hey, in a year from now.
I got a couple of those, yes.
Okay. This is the whole point. When someone writes an album and produces an album, that's really about your life where it was at that moment in time. And when it's all released and said and done, you're a new person, maybe. You've moved on.
It's a really good point.
This one came about pretty fast, though.
It did come pretty fast. I mean, I feel like it's interesting you say that. I feel like part of this body of work, I was listening back to, I played it to a friend yesterday, the guy that we created What a Man Gotta Do, actually, the brothers. I was doing a song with him yesterday, and I played him the whole album, and he was like, oh, wow, it's like really interesting because I feel like genre-wise it's kind of like all over the place, but it's cohesive. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. I feel like in the place of my life, I wasn't sure like who I was. I was quite like on a journey. At one point I was like, maybe I'll just go live in the desert. Maybe I'll just, I don't know. I went on a road trip and I was just finding myself listening to a lot of like country western music. And so there's a lot of different kind of types of music that you're going to hear on the body of work. And I feel like it's important for, I guess, listeners of any artist, you go like, this is where they were at. They might be now 6 months removed, 2 years removed from when they release it. but you almost are able to put on your thinking cap and put them into the hot seat of like, this is where I was emotionally, personally. It was confusing, and I was trying to figure out who I am and kind of getting to know myself again. And here I am. So it's exciting. And also I think probably my favorite thing, and this is more features on this project than I think any brothers or solo stuff we've done. I think there's about 7 or 8 features on this album, which is wild.
Really?
I reached out to a lot of friends and just said, hey, like, I'm a fan. And some of which was more just a phone call. Some were like DM and said, hey, I'm a big fan of you. Like, I would love to send you a song if you're interested. So I can't wait for people to see and hear who is on this.
Are we going to hold that information back until the release of the album?
I get in trouble every time I do an interview because I say something too early, but
okay.
I don't mind. I think it's exciting. I mean, there's some that have been already kind of rumored because you how easy it is to follow somebody. Who was rumored? Let's see. I just want to say the biggest artist in the world, so people get the album. Beyonce.
Yeah, start that rumor.
I think the there's a Brazilian artist, Luisa Sons. I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
That you may or may not hear on this album.
Okay.
That's
It'd be
one.
funny if we don't.
I could I could do this all day.
We could play this stupid game all day, couldn't we?
Start saying like comedians. Start saying magicians.
Carrot Top performs with me.
Gordon Ramsay.
It's great. It's awesome.
Is it hard to let go of a song? Like once you record it and it's done and you do the collab or you do whatever, and then you listen back and you're like, I think it's ready. It's ready
funny
for release.
It's a great question. I think we say this a lot. People have been like, you made this in like 2 weeks? And I was like, well, I had the studio for 2 weeks. But probably similar to a film or TV show, you edit until the last second.
Yeah.
And now with how obviously radio and streaming work, you can kind of do it up until the finish line. Now, sorry, this is so technical, but also now that like vinyl is back in play, you kind of have to have things lock and key, which is a little bit different. But I found that I'm happy to kind of walk away. I mean, I feel like I don't want to overthink it too. At this point, most of the vocals on this album were recorded in the room like this. Weren't in like some isolated studio. It was with a bunch of friends, and it felt like really comfortable. So I can like release it and feel comfortable. Now the producers might say something differently, but I feel like once it's ready, it's ready.
So I know you said that it is definitely therapy for you.
Yeah.
Is it therapy performing it a year down the road, or is it more like trauma lived again?
It's a great question as well. I had a conversation with an amazing artist recently. I won't say names because I don't want to put them on blast, but it's a great story. They were mentioning a song that they kind of at some point in their career, they felt it was difficult to perform. They're just like, I don't feel attached to this song anymore. I perform it every night. It's everyone's favorite song, but I feel like I've grown as an artist, which arguably most people do, and especially for me, my brothers, we play songs that we wrote when we were like 15 years old, and we're saying things in the song that we're like, like we're talking about like things that don't even really exist anymore, like AOL chat. Like there's things in Jonas Brothers songs that are just you age out of, and I think what I've grown to learn from that experience, this artist, one of their favorite artists, looked at them and said, "Oh, this song's not yours anymore. You have to realize that that's theirs, and the audience deserves to have it in their favorite fashion." Because a lot of times I've gotten up there and changed songs to sound a little bit like with the times of the sound that's out there. It could be like updated, or I'll do an electro version of the song, and then you find yourself like the audience is sitting there, and I've gone to concerts where I'm like, just play the song. I want to hear my song.
Play the hit.
And so if you're able to kind of remind yourself and take yourself out of that, at least for me, that helped a lot. Playing some of these old Jonas songs that I kind of rolled my eyes and went like, all right, here we go. Now I'm like, I appreciate it so much more because I see it's like, that's their song. That's not mine anymore, and I've got to give that song respect for them.
Wow.
In some
Joe
fashion.
Jonas, of course, his song is called Work It Out. It's out today. We're going to play it for you in just a few seconds. How was Greece?
Oh my God, so
Isn't it
amazing!
the best place on earth?
It's my first time. That was amazing.
It is an incredible place.
I ate so much fish. It was so good.
You sit on beaches.
I
eat
am
a lot of fish.
Aquaman now. Although Aquaman doesn't eat fish.
That would be like Hannibal.
That would not be right.
That wouldn't be right. I'm like, I'll eat enough fish to become. Nope, that's not. I don't think I saw him eeting fish.
You're mercury poisoning man.
Like there you go.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. I loved it. It was so beautiful and so welcoming. I stayed for like 2 weeks and I had the best time. There was a big hotel opening out there, and the Greek people party so hard. It is so fun.
And I know.
And they're also gorgeous out there.
They are very pretty people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, like, we were in Mykonos several years ago, and of course you wake up at noon, you go to the beach, you get home and you eat, and you get home, you take a disco nap, and then you go out for dinner at 11 or 12.
Literally. I went to dinner, I was like, I couldn't hear anything. It was so loud. The music was so loud.
It's awesome.
It was great. It's literally like
Did you dance till the sun came up?
Of course I did.
I love it.
Hair flip.
It's nice. But you needed a getaway. We need these getaways, and even if you can't go to Greece, you can do a weekend up the road with your friends at their cabin or something. Just you got to get away.
Totally.
Do you find inspiration on a beach in Greece eating fish, or is that your turnoff? You don't want to think about writing a song or where you're going?
I agree with what you said, how it can be anywhere. I mean, it can be down to the Jersey Shore if that's for you. I honestly, for me, as like somebody that loves to perform, loves to create, I have to like go and find inspiration as well. I feel like it's so important. And
so the next album is about fish.
The next album's about fish.
And mercury poison.
Yeah. Oh boy.
These are important things.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
You said something earlier about looking out at the crowd. Was it called Canada Stampede?
It's called Calgary Stampede.
Calgary
yeah.
Stampede.
But
okay.
most of Canada was there.
And looking at the crowd and thinking, maybe I should crowd surf. Do you crowd surf? That seems terrifying.
I've attempted it. Well, at the time, I think our audience was a little young when I was thinking about it.
You just crushed them?
I was like, I don't know if this is the smartest idea. But D&C days, yeah, there was plenty of jumping in the audience and getting wild. And now it's kind of fun to. I feel like there was a time when we were performing like during, like I guess COVID days, and it felt like, all right, you can't really. There was a reason you couldn't get in the audience. Now I'm like, screw that. I want to be out there. I want to be as close as I can. And so it's always quite funny. I can always see my security look at me, and he's like ready, like he's about to like go for a run. He's like, "Are we doing it? Are we doing it?" But if there's an opportunity, I mean, I feel like it's always so fun to get closer to the audience as best as possible.
Breathe on them.
Breathe on them. Breathe on me.
So you're backstage about to go out. They're announcing you for your first song. If it's the Brothers versus DNCE versus solo, are those three different Joe Jonases that are about to jump out on that stage? Or they're, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do feel like there's, maybe not persona is not the right word, but.
Energy?
Yeah, different energies. I mean, yeah, like, I think with DNCE, it's like we lay it all out there. And it's like, it's always so funny. Every time we look at a set list, it'll be like Cake by the Ocean and then like this really soft, beautiful song. And I'm like, I am so out of breath. So I'm like, like right after Cake by the Ocean because I'm so out of breath. But to your point, yeah, I feel like there is different energies. And especially with this new album that I'm releasing, like there's a lot of emotion attached to this. So it will be a bit, not somber, it's fun. There's a lot of, even the first single, it's an energetic tune. But there's a lot of heart to it. So I do have to put on a different thinking cap, or it's like putting on a character, and I enjoy that. I mean, grew up doing theater, and I understand what it's like to go to concerts, and you want to feel not only entertained, but like how can you look at a body of work and say, okay, I want to present this in the best way possible. So it's been a lot of fun ideas about how to bring this to life, and take it on the road. Maybe would be fun.
There you have it. We got to play the song. Of course, give me the album release date again.
October 19th.
That's music for people who believe in love.
Yep.
But today, July 19th. Friday, July 19th.
Yeah, see that? They make it easy for me. I'm so bad with dates that they just say 19 to everything, and I'm good.
Uh-oh, they're saying the date's wrong.
See? You said it.
Wait, October 18th?
Ah.
Oh, boy. Thank God you're here.
Wow.
That's
You
great.
could have been late.
Oh, there's still plenty of time. Plenty of time to get it right.
Then.
October 18th. My album's out October 18th.
But today, Friday, July 19th, we give you the first cut, of course. Work it out.
It's crazy.
So are you already writing your new album?
It's pretty much done now, yeah. We've got like 13 songs. I mean, I don't know.
No, not this new album. The next album.
The follow-up.
Yeah.
The one after that.
Yes, actually, yes.
Really?
Been working on more, and then I was in this writing for a Brothers album yesterday. So just like keep it going. I feel like at this point in our career, with the guy, it's so supportive, and I'm so like, I was on the phone with Nick yesterday. It was really funny. He's like, "Hey, I heard the podcast of you talking about that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, were you upset about what I said? He's like, no, I thought it was great. So I think it's so different as adults. We're looking out for each other, but also like we want to support. Like he's working on stuff constantly. I'm working on stuff. Nick Heaven is too, and it's nice to just keep the train moving. I mean, there's some really exciting stuff we're doing for the brothers and this project for solo stuff. I don't think it's at this place in the music industry. You just keep going. You don't have to like slow down or take big breaks. So if you're inspired, go in the studio. As
they say, don't stop running because it'll catch up to you. Keep going.
Nice. That's scary, but I like it.
It is frightening. We'll leave on that note. We'll leave on that downer note.
Thanks, Elvis.
Joe Jonas, this is Work It Out. Thanks for coming in, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.